Welcome to the Virgo channel. My name is Lauren. I'm going to do a general message for Virgo. Know that energy is fluid, so roles could be reversed. Just interpret the message as it best resonates for you. If you're new to the channel, anything of any importance you can find in the description box. If you want to enter into winning a free reading with me, all you have to do is like the video, subscribe to the channel, and write the word of the day. The word of the day is always taken from my deck, the Psychic Soul Healer deck. And this deck is made for healing the shadow aspects of ourself. And so there are 68 cards in the deck titled under transpersonal psychology. And my readings always do talk about the spiritual blocks and the karmic themes that come from those blocks, as well as what's going to happen in your relationship, what your person feels about you, and all that good stuff. So again, the word of the day is going to be empathy. And you're going to write that word in your comment bar, and you'll know if I chose you, if I wrote the word winner underneath. If I did, you and I would just correspond back and forth on YouTube. And the day of your reading, I would just post the link underneath where we've been corresponding. So you'll never have to worry, where's the link? I can't find it. It doesn't matter. It'll be right there. So it'll be easy. Okay. So I always use the word of the day too as an underlining energy of your reading. And when I'm feeling empathy, I'm feeling like, again, there's a sensitivity, and we can feel a spiritual connection a lot of times through the gift of clairsentience, which is feeling. So right now, what I'm feeling is not so much of an empathetic character trait, like when you have empathy for someone. Instead, what I'm feeling more is like a connection, a spiritual connection that's built on clairsentient. We're going to see how that plays out. Let me just also pull another card, the Genius again, and that is the higher self. And the higher self is that God part of self, which when we're talking about spiritual and soul connections, we are talking about the creative genius, that supernatural part of ourselves. And we all have that part of ourselves inside of us. It's our connection to each other. It's felt as empathy. It's felt as sensitivity. So that's why I felt that. So you're in connection with somebody that is a soul connection, and it is dictating energy. So we're going to see actually what's going on, because just because there's a connection doesn't mean that there's a good connection. It could be a bad connection. What it says is that this is at the forefront of your mind. You are curious about a person that you're connected to, and possibly wanting to know where that person is. That's too many. There's like 4 of them that came out, and it wasn't even like a real out. It was like they lit out. I get emotional when I think of you. So you're in separation with a person right now that I feel knows that they didn't treat you well. I feel lost without you. Again, and so when a person feels like home and there are a soul connection, there's always a sense that you were always going to be there, no matter what happened, no matter what transpired, even if this connection never got off the ground. The connection was so strong. It was almost like this person knew who you were, you knew who this person was, without really getting to know. However, I'm feeling like this person has like too many bad negative behaviors. Like it's the same repetitive cycle of this person wanting the relationship, but then not wanting the relationship. 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And the thing is, there is a very strong spiritual connection, so it winds up being really confusing. unhealthy habits and behaviors. Yeah, this person, like I said, like I feel like they wanted to show you one side of them that was strong and very business savvy, drove a nice car, maybe lives in a nice house, has nice possessions, wears nice clothes. The perception of them is one way, but then they have all these habits and behaviorisms that are toxic because they have a lot of unhealed wounds. And so they don't really have a good self-esteem. And it's because of how their relationships wind up going. So here's this soul connection that's really deep, really real. They feel that connection. And I feel like they just always felt like you were going to be there. Like I said, because when you're so connected to someone else and they can feel that you were a genuine person, they saw that. And then the undeniable connection, and also unfortunately basing this connection on past relationships, on what they've known. So again, you should seem as like a good girl or a good boy, someone that's not gonna run around with 1,000 different people, and again, had a real genuine connection to this person. I'll come back for you. And there's a sense, like, again, that you are always going to be there. Again, but this person kind of put you on hold, put you on red. I feel like I can be my true self around you. And again, you feel like home. They said, and this is why they want to come back. I feel like when they were doing all this shit, they didn't care. That even though that they have this strong spiritual connection to you, they weren't looking for any type of commitment. They weren't looking for anything. They were used to having a lot of different people in their life, doing whatever they wanted to do when they wanted to do it. Never, like I said, never had a real strong, deep connection. I'm ashamed of how I treated you. Like I said, they had one foot in, they had one foot out. They breadcrumbed, they ran around with other people. I feel like they didn't tell you how they felt about you. They, if anything, they made you feel bad. Boiling point, like again, your anger is simmering beneath the surface. Yeah, like almost like, because this person is kind of low vibe. They actually like it when they irritate you, and they can feel it because you have a spiritual connection to them. They can feel your energy, and they can feel like when you're angry, and they can feel when you're not. And because they don't really know how to have a conversation, they try and do things to manipulate you, to get underneath your skin so that you'll react, and they play dumb about it. They just play dumb about it. They act like they don't know what they're doing, but they do. It's their way of like gaslighting you to make you feel like there's something wrong. So this person's like a low vibe, and they know that that's how they acted. Dark moods. They have spells of despair and depression and anxiety because they don't feel good about themselves. So what they do is they go into the relationship with you and they try to create that within you. And that really is when a person has a lot of unhealed trauma. They go into the next relationship, and if they do have strong feelings, and this person does, it's triggering them to like act mean instead of acting nice. It's a way that they actually get in their own way. They have a wound, and that wound creates sabotaging behaviors where instead of them being nice, that if anything, they create more drama. They create more drama to try and get a reaction out of you, or to try and create a mood with inside of you so that they could read you almost. And then even if nothing comes about the relationship, if it stirs up enough emotion, that's enough for them. It's like this person is very toxic. It's like I should put a trigger warning on this because it's almost like they have a strong connection to you, where you do feel like unconditional love. You do feel like home. They can be around you, but instead of them appreciating it. It's like they like to toy with it. And it's like, and it's because they won't allow themselves to really be in a relationship. It's again hypnotized. You allow yourself to be under someone's spell. So it's again, I'm feeling like at one time, like they were in relationships with people that manipulated them. So I feel like this is a way that they try to like manipulate you. Not so much like hypnotize, but if you're so busy wondering what they're going to do, you're not focused on yourself, right? You're always focused on them. It's the way of them dominating your energy without giving you anything. So it's a real toxic relationship. So just because it's toxic, we'll actually see what this person's hidden truths are, because we can see exactly what they're doing. It's really negative. It's really negative and it's triggering, but it's almost like hurt people hurt people. This is what I'm feeling. And this person does have feelings because they're like, they're ashamed and they look at it, but it's like after the fact. So many things remind me of you. You came closer than anyone. Like you said, the closer that you got, the more fear that they would have, the more they would sabotage this connection, is really what I'm feeling. And that's what happens when you go through a relationship and you don't heal. I hope that you can forgive me one day. So they're in regret. They feel bad, but there's like they don't feel more bad about treating you badly, where they can actually come and say they're sorry. I feel as if they are thinking about everything and they see, but they see it after the fact. Like I said, I replay our conversations over and over again. It's almost like this person is stuck. And that happens a lot of times if you're in a relationship with a soulmate and you need to learn a lesson. And the lesson here, I believe, is again, this was a true connection. It was a soul connection. It was a meaningful connection. However, what it did was it just made this person like rebel, and it made them rebel because they have a lot of unhealed trauma. They have a lot of unhealed trauma, not because of you, but like I said, if you're going to give this person the time and energy and keep trying to love this person, what it showed that they did was they acted, the more that you tried, the harder that they tried to rebel against it. Just going to show you that you can't heal a person. They have to want to heal themselves, because they can feel the connection here. Everything about this connection, like they could tell, was a good connection, but they just, like I said, have a lot of bad memories, tangled, unable to free yourself from a sticky situation, taking a step back. So it's again, their way is to not really even be in a relationship. Their way is to get to bound people to them through toxicity, through like a trauma bond almost. And what I see is they really thought that you were going to fall for it, because again, this soul connection. So, and that you didn't fall for it, that you didn't get all tangled in it. Again, many flames. Like I said, this person's used to running around with a lot of different people, not a real deep connection, not anything. This is a deep spiritual connection that they didn't want. And they didn't want because, again, they have a lot of healing that needs to be done. They were hurt in past relationships. They ran around with a lot of different people. You're here for a good time, not for a long time. Those type of relationships, you come along, it's a real relationship, it's a deep relationship. And instead of them really embracing it, it triggered them. like I said, so their way was, I do want to be with you, I do like you, but I want it all my way. I don't want to like do it your way. And their way would be to like tangle you up in their drama to keep you, like, which happens with people that don't invest in themselves, that people that don't have any self-worth. So they expected you to act like so many other people, and you didn't, which is why they're in a place of replaying messages, wanting forgiveness, realizing that, wow, you really did come closer because there are real feelings, though I didn't pursue it. You're still on my mind. I still see you everywhere because they didn't learn the spiritual lesson, burn. You haven't like heard before, so it's hard for them to trust. It's all about like them again projecting what has happened to them in the past and having them stay in that place, but then wanting to like have their cake and eat it too, but doing it in a way that is obviously not a healthy way. So like, because I feel like they knew what they were doing. They just didn't know how to do it any other way. So we asked, why would you be in a relationship with someone that couldn't give anything? They're emotionally not intelligent, played a lot of games, and now they're in regret, but they're in regret. They're not doing anything. It's like just them stuck in a place of regret, wanting forgiveness, but not saying I'm going to forgive, going to ask for forgiveness, but kind of wishing and thinking about the relationship and thinking about you and thinking about like what they've gone through, but not necessarily being like, well, I want to be in this relationship, looking at everything around the relationship. So we have to ask, why would spirit bring a person to you that is emotionally not intelligent, that couldn't give you anything, that played around all these games, having one foot in, one foot out, not wanting a real connection, but wanting to keep you bound to them, wanting to keep you tangled up in their drama, wanting to keep you still connected to them. I mean, this empathy card is all about that. This is that too. The genius part of self is that the higher self, the spirit part of self, that when you recognize your soulmate, you say that's a soul recognition. It's like, why would spirit bring someone that felt like home, but was like a player that didn't want to give anything, but it was a real soul connection? What we ask, because there's a spiritual lesson for you to learn when you pull in a person like this. And instead of, if you don't learn the lesson, like being connected to someone like this that played a lot of games, I ran around with a lot of people, it could make you feel as if you're not worthy, can make you feel as if like there's something wrong with you, like if you're not careful, like I said. So we always need to look and see, like, why would spirit bring us a person? Like, what was this person supposed to teach us? Anger. So again, then maybe this person like triggers a lot of anger within inside of you because there's a sense of wanting to control, and you can't control a person like this. We can only control ourselves. It's also could bring up energy of having to deal with other people from your past that never gave anything. So there was trapped emotional energy of anger inside of you that you have to deal with, but mainly due to people that are emotionally not intelligent, that can't give you what you need, but will try to get from you what they want without doing it in an upright way. That try to do it in a very sneaky and shady way, one that only works for them. So having to deal with a difficult person we can see would bring up like anger, because it's like I didn't ask for it. It's like, not to mention, I feel like it's a little unfair, right? I mean, we have to say, what are the emotions that you feel? When it's a shadow, we want to know. Anxiety, worry, depression. So being with a person like this also, they don't make you feel secure within yourself, as I said. So it would bring up a lot of worry, a lot of anxiety and anger, by the way. So all these are root chakra imbalances, which are which is how connected we are to ourselves and the world, how supported we feel by not just ourselves and our job, but the people that are in our life. And if this person is like only bringing anger and worry, um, and negative emotions, well, then obviously we're giving too much time to this person. Like they're not honoring us. So it's to look at the emotional energy that comes up, and no one should be able to make us really uh, have anxiety. If someone is continuously not showing up for us, then we can't trust them regardless of what they say, right? It's not because anxiety and worry and fear and anger are all root chakra imbalances. And that is, again, how supported we feel. And that means emotionally supported, not just physically supported like our needs. This person emotionally can't give anything. If anything, they drain you emotionally. So one more, I just want to see attachment, dependency, addiction. So again, they wanted you to have that attachment, which it showed. I wanted you to be tangled up in my craziness, which is a toxic dependency, which I believe that your person, the person that you're connected to, the person that's in this reading, that's showing up in your reading, is someone that is normally codependent, has really bad relationships. They usually have the upper hand in these toxic relationships, and it's all built on like attachment, addiction, dependency, which only brings a lot of anger, brings a lot of anxiety because you don't know what to deal with. So I would say this is more of a karmic spiritual mate. So that could be a past life karmic mate. Feels very much like a soulmate twin flame. There's a lot of passion, there's deep connection. That's again this spiritual connection that's felt as clairsentience and claircognizance. It's like almost like known, which is what claircognizance is. It's that I don't know how I knew, I just know it's divine. And so it's a divine connection. However, it's a divine connection to come into your life to teach you about what you needed clearing in. And it was these energies of worry, anxiety, and anger really brought on from other people. And so what you learned is you can't feed this, and you didn't feed it, because like I said, which is why the person that you're connected to in this reading is replaying your conversations and is looking back on their behaviors, looking back and seeing like what they did wasn't good, that they weren't honest with you. And they weren't honest because, again, they had a lot of different people. They didn't really want to commit, though they did feel this strong connection to you. So they weren't honest with you and saying, hey, listen, I really feel our connection, but I want to date other people because I'm not ready. They didn't do that. Instead, they played a lot of games to keep you up in your head, and so that you wouldn't move forward while they ran around and dated a lot of people. You caught on to it. They will like this because, like you said, they were burned. But it doesn't matter because you were like, I'm not having this and I'm leaving. And so now they're stuck looking, and what they're saying is, wow, you were really in my life for a long time. I feel like you were in their life for not their norm. Their norm is usually here for a good time, not a long time. So that would be like a couple of months. Normally, people might be in their life to a couple of weeks to a couple of months, maybe a couple of days to a couple of weeks to a couple of months at tops, where you were in this person's life for years. There was a very strong spiritual bond. I believe that they always thought that you were going to cave, that they would wear you down. While they ran around and talked to other people, that they would come back for you, that they would come back to you. They kind of put you on the shelf, thinking that you were always going to be there. And then what happened is you were like, well, time's up. I see what it is, that this is what it is. And now they're like, still have a big ego where I see that they don't want to apologize, didn't come back and say that, but they are in a place of regret. They are in a place of looking at how they contributed to this undesirable life experience. And again, this divine connection did produce something for them. It made them look at their life and see that they played too many games, that they had one foot in, one foot out, that they, all that wasted time, and all those other people here for a good time, not a long time, but here the whole time they had a good connection, and they see the good connection, and they also see that they let you slip right through their fingers, that it's like it's done, and it's done mainly because of them, and they have to look at it. So I believe in a roundabout way, you will always be the one that got away, Virgo. They will always say you were the one, because this person thought that they were cocky. Again, they were used to playing these games. They were used to always having the upper hand. So they never dealt with a person like you, number one. But then number two, there was a spiritual reason for the connection on both parties. For you, Virgo, honor yourself. The person isn't giving anything, don't keep giving them second and third and fourth chances. This person got so cocky because of how much you gave. Even if you don't feel like you gave them the respect that they didn't deserve. And what they learned was, oh, they had a lot of different options, so they thought, but in the end, the one real option they let slip right through their fingers. And they're going to have to live with that for the rest of their life. I'm going to leave that there, Virgo. You let me know how you resonated with this. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.